Hi guys, welcome to NightLife Bartenders, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about what to do if a customer spills a drink. So normally what I do when a customer spills a drink is that I make it right off the bat, no hesitation. At least that's what it seems. But there are a few things that I'm considering before I make the drink, which I make a snap decision right away. And what those things consist of is, did the customer just spill it? Like, did I make them the drink and it was full and then they spilled it on accident? If that's the case, then yeah, make them a drink right off the bat, and I'll explain why you do this. But there are some of those rare people out there who will try and scam you and just like drink half of the drink or more than half and then spill it on purpose and try and get a new drink. Those people are very rare. It doesn't happen at all bars, but if you're working at a bar that kind of attracts a negative crowd or like a rough crowd, then you might run into you might encounter some things like some people like that. But again, it's rare. It doesn't happen too often. But let me explain now why you would want to make the drink right off the bat. When you do this, see, a lot of bartenders would disagree with me. They would say, no, they have to pay for it. They were drunk, make them pay for it again. But let me explain why that wouldn't be the optimal choice in every case. So when you spill a drink, when a customer spills a drink and you make them a new drink right off the bat, the bar makes a temporary loss. It makes because you're giving them a free drink, so that is a temporary loss, but it's a small loss in the grand scheme of things. And even though right off the bat it seems like, okay, the bar is taking a loss, in the long run, you might actually save the bar a lot of money, because if that customer remembers that, okay, this bar, they're really nice, I accidentally spilled my drink, the bartender was nice enough to make me one right off the bat, that was really cool of them. When it comes time for people like that to decide when they're going out what bar they're going to go to, they'll remember that. They'll remember, oh, there was that really cool bartender, he was friendly, he made sure I was having a good time, made me a drink when I spilled it. They might come back, and get their party on at your bar as well. But let's look at the alternative. Let's look at what I think most bartenders would do. They would make the customer pay for their drink again. Now, when you do that, see, what you got to understand is that bartenders have the ability to sway people's moods. So when you do that, just think about what's going on in that customer's mind. He might feel like, oh, I spilled my drink, it was on accident, now the bartender's making me pay for another drink. I mean, I'm here, I might as well buy another drink. Fine, I'll pay for it. And then they feel bummed out because now they lost money. And these drinks, especially if you're working in the downtown area, they're not cheap. So these guys are going to be spending a lot of money just to recover that drink, just so they can have fun for that night. So when you do that, and the next time that person decides to come out to a bar, again, there's a million bars, especially in the city of Chicago, that they can go to, they can choose to go to and spend their hard-earned money. And if they remember, what a dick the bartender was to them, they might not come back there. They might go to another place, try another place out, or they might just never come back to that bar ever again, depending on the interaction that took place with the bartender. So what does that mean? That means that the bar has actually taken a loss, even though temporarily you would think like, okay, I made him pay for the other drink, so the bar is receiving the money for that. Yeah, but the patron, the customer, is probably not having a good time, so that customer might not come back. So in the long run, the bar would take a hit, even though superficially, initially, at first, it seems like you're saving the bar money. In the long run, it might take a hit because that customer might not decide not to never ever come back there. Okay, you see how that works? Is that making sense? So that's the reason why I personally, as a bartender, I make the drinks for the customer right off the bat. I consider if it was a legit spill first, and then I make the drink for them, and then they're having a good time. And they, usually when I do that, they're always like high-fiving me and shaking my hand. Thank you, you're so great, you're an awesome bartender, I love you, I like you. You know, when they do that, you know, their mood is great, so they're having a good time for the rest of the night. You didn't kill their vibe. You know, their vibe is very positive. Your vibe as a bartender is positive. You're not being an ass, you know, you're not being negative. You're like being this positive dude, this very social guy. Like, don't even worry about it. You know, you're very welcoming and all that. They sense those vibes and they have a good time, and they'll want to come back and spend their hard-earned money. And for you as a bartender, that means more tip money in your pocket. That means for the bar, more money for the bar in the long run if the customer decides to come back, which they most likely will. So that is my reasoning behind making the drink right off the bat. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you got some value out of it. It's definitely some insight from a experienced bartender. So yeah, that concludes the video. If you liked it, please like the video. It shows me a lot of support, so I appreciate everybody who's been doing that. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.